Hi YouTube and welcome to another build showcase and tutorial. In this one we're making this gorgeous two-sided natural vegetable tanned leather belt. Now there won't be a PDF pattern available for this build because it's fairly easy, but if you would like me to make one for you, just let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, I will ask you to like and subscribe to see more content, and let's make this thing. For this particular build, you will need 2 strips of leather of same length and same width. Also, we will have this belt buckle that does the switcheroony thingy, since this will be a two-sided belt. And also, I've used this belt cutter, strip cutter thingy to get these 2 strings, but be careful and be wary because this thing is wooden and it moves a lot and stuff like that, so you have to make sure that it goes exactly straight and even. So just take your time while cutting these strings, these strips, and if you're doing it for the first time, take your time. Don't worry if it takes a little bit longer. Just practice on scrap leather and stuff like that you have, but yeah, even if it comes out a little bit uneven, it doesn't really matter that much, since we will be gluing everything together and then sanding everything, making sure that it's actually pretty nice and flat and even and yeah, looking good. So yeah, get these 2 things and then we proceed. Now this belt in particular is gonna be, as I've mentioned already, two-sided, and since I'm making it, I'm sorry for the noise, since I'm making it for myself, it's gonna be 103 centimeters in length. So if you have a ruler, metal ruler like me, then it's a lifesaver. If not, try using a tape measure. This that might help as well. And just make these 2 strips 103 centimeters long. If you want to make it a little bit longer, it's up to you. It doesn't really matter as long as the both strips are nice and even, and we'll be able to glue them afterwards. So let's cut this to the length and proceed then. Alrighty, now that you have your both strips to needed length, next step is gonna be to dye this particular belt in 2 colors, since it's gonna be a flip-on belt. So the colors that I'm choosing are black, of course, standard, and mahogany. So we dye the front, sides, and a little bit of to the side of the back side. To the side of the back side. Well, you get it, just a little strip on the back for both sides, and then we'll proceed. Okay, so this step is actually optional. I mean, making belts is really just the matter of your imagination, and the imagination is just your limit, as they say, the sky is the limit. So for this belt particularly, the mahogany part, the mahogany side, I will be impressing, or whatever's the word, with this thing. Since it's already wet from dye, I don't need to make it damped, as it's already damped. So next steps, what I will do is, using the press, I will imprint the this ornament, as we might say, all throughout the side, and this way I will have 2 different interesting belt sides. this is how it turned out in the end. Looks interesting, to say the least. But we'll see how it'll look when we finish everything. So the next step is to wait for everything to dry, and then we'll need to apply another coat of dye, then proceed with oil, and of course tank coat, and then we will move on to assembly. So let's wait for it to dry and then proceed. Okay, so now that everything's dried and prepared, the next step is to actually glue these two pieces together for sanding later on. So let's do that. So we glued everything together. I've actually waited around 10 minutes for the glue to dry. Next step is of course to sand the edges. So take your time with this step because yeah, you have to make your edges super nice, flat and smooth. So for this I'll be using 1000 grit sanding paper, 1.5 and then 2000 to seal the deal. So yeah, as I mentioned, take your time and let's do this thing. Okay, now that your edges are nice and smooth and flat and even, next step is actually making the hole lines and making the holes already. So we're almost at the finish line. So this thing is 4 millimeters wide over here at the very tip, and just go around like so. Alrighty, so now that the holes are ready, next step is of course to stitch everything up. For this particular belt, I'll be using 0.6-0.7 millimeter thickness, wide width, I don't know, 0.7-0.6 millimeter black thread. And since the belt itself is 103 centimeters, we will need 3 times as much thread for the belt. So we'll be measuring it with this 1 meter tape measuring tape ruler. So be careful because it's super annoying to work with thread that is this long. So yeah, just take your time and I think you'll be golden. So let's do that now. So the next step, as soon as you finish stitching everything up, you need to round the corners from both sides. So here, here, and from the black side as well. So just use this thing and go like so. Right, so the next step is completely up to you, to be completely honest. It depends on the length of your belt, on your width, and stuff like that. But for me particularly, I will measure 10 centimeters for the very edge of the belt, the very start of the belt. I will measure 10 centimeters, mark it with scratch all, then I'll go 2.5 centimeters, mark it with a scratch all, then 2.5 again, and I think that will be enough. So what you will do next is take your hole puncher and just make holes. Make sure they're in the middle, and after that we'll move on and proceed to another step. Two more steps before we finish. So now, after you've done your holes, we're taking, for my case, a dark brown edge coat, and guess what? We'll be dyeing the very edges. If you wish to do it with different color, or if you do not want to do it and just apply toconol and burnish it, it's up to you. But for this belt, I really like this color, so let's do that. The last thing that we have to do is, of course, attach these two together. So my particular case, this thing goes up and you just simply insert it. You might have to push it a little bit if the edge is a little bit longer, but in my case it fits just perfectly, just right. There we go. And then just using the teeth, we snap this part on really hard. There we go, and there you have it. This is basically done. So before we finish, we just need to apply one more coat of oil, and that's gonna be it. And there you have it, folks, a unisex natural vegetable tan leather belt. I will thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll ask you to leave a like, subscribe for more content, and to show support. If you have any questions or submissions or ideas, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you would like to see a PDF pattern of such belts and stuff, please also let me know. Thank you very much once again, and I will see you on another one.